Hey guys, welcome back. If you are here enjoying another episode, I appreciate you. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for showing up. Hopefully you'll get something from this and it'll be something that at least gives you a new perspective or helps you maybe change something in your life that, helps you be more authentic with who you are. So in any case, welcome to the show. And I wanted to talk about something. I was just hosting an event in Austin called Activate Your Alpha with some really good buddies from the Empowered Brotherhood. And when I was there, we were putting these guys through a very intense situation. It was special operations mixed in with intense, immersive men's development. And it was just this 1-2 punch for 72 hours that these guys really experienced, and it was nonstop. But part of it was, I came across a point where I think a lot of men don't believe that luck is on their side, or they believe that they got the shit end of the stick because they're men or because they're martyrs, and they're supposed to be having the shit end of the stick because they're the sacrificial lamb for everybody else. But what I came across just actually prior to the event, and what I leveraged in the event as something that would impact these men, was talking about luck. And a lot of people think that, they're just luckier, things fall on their lap, so then they have the opportunity to take advantage of that and move forward and have all these good things happen for them. But in reality, what luck actually is two things. It's preparation meets opportunity. And so if you've never heard that saying before, well, you're like, okay, let's elaborate on this. And if you have heard this saying before, maybe you forgot about it. But in reality, with luck being when preparation meets opportunity, it's essentially giving yourself the ability to say, hey, if I do these things for myself prior to an opportunity falling on my lap, if I'm prepared to receive that opportunity, then that is going to turn into something and flourish into something that's really big that others perceive as luck. But it wasn't luck. It was because you were prepared for that type of event. And so this goes into constantly building yourself, developing, progressing, learning, educating. All of these things are combined. When does the fighter, right? Like the MMA fighter, he's constantly training. Even when he may not particularly be preparing for a specific fight, but he's training in case that fight comes up, or he can take it on a short notice, right? Donald Cerrone was one of the big guys for this in MMA. That guy took fights on incredibly short notice. I think he may have like the most fights in UFC history. But anyways, this dude fought all the time. But it wasn't necessarily because of the fact that he was lucky. It was because he was constantly prepared. Then the opportunity arose and he was able to meet that. And then a lot of times, especially early on or in the middle of his career, he started to lose a little more now, but in the middle of his career, he was really winning and got up to be in contention, and very, very skilled fighter in many different ways. So I only bring that up because of the fact that the fighter trains constantly. And so for you, and just like the athlete in general, but for you as a man, how are you training? How are you giving yourself the ability to be prepared for an opportunity to then be received as luck? That's what I look at in life. And if you're not constantly putting yourself under the microscope and saying, hey, there's things that I want to improve on every day, so let me do things, whatever it is, let me do these things so I can continue to build them. Well, then when the opportunity arises, or when you say yes to an experience and you're put in a position where an opportunity arises, you are capable of handling that. You are prepared for it, and therefore you're going to receive something incredibly big in your life, or you're going to receive positive things that compound to big things. Or, I see this all the time, is that I know friends who they get put in positions where they're in, social containers with people who potentially, I guess not potentially, perceivably aren't on the same level, like they're way up here, but then these friends that I have are in these social circles with them. And why is that? Was it because they got lucky because they got introduced to somebody who then invited them to this? Or was it the fact that they were prepared for the moments prior to that allowed them to create a friendship with somebody who had the opportunity or gave them the opportunity to be in an environment where these people who are multi-million-dollar business owners, who can teach them something, who have whatever it is that can actually help benefit their lives, they're in those positions because they were prepared. So when we talk about this as men, I love to really dive into how we are preparing ourselves. And so whatever that means for you is to create a structure in your life, a routine in your life where you're doing some form of constant training to prepare yourself for the opportunities. For instance, I work out in almost 7 days a week, somewhere between 5 and 7 days a week. And I do this in a very, I would say my working out is a lot more intense than the average person's. And the reason I do that though was because number one, my past. So my past always taught me I never needed my strength when I was full, when I was fresh, when I was incredibly rested. I never needed my strength then. I always needed my strength when I was in the shit house, when I was depleted, when I was, tired, when I hadn't eaten for a while. That's when I needed the most strength. And so I train that way in the way that I work out, and I do it purposely because of the fact that I always want to be prepared. And so if I'm prepared for that opportunity, then luck favors me, right? Luck favors me. Or did I create my own luck and have a positive outcome? That's the thing that we have to discuss, or that's the thing we get to discuss as men. And so that's why I train that way. The same thing with, constantly reading. Part of that is because of the fact that when I get into conversations with people, I want to be able to have in-depth conversations to create a connection, which then may lead to now I don't look at everything as like, leading somewhere, but if the opportunity arises because I have somebody who I've made an impression on because of the fact that I was prepared, and then they were like, hey, let me introduce you to this person, which has happened before, or let me connect you with this person who there's a really great event that they're hosting and maybe they want you there as a speaker, which has happened. So preparing myself in those ways, constantly reading and educating and diving into different subjects and allowing myself to be fluid is something that has helped me to establish that preparedness meeting opportunity, creating my own luck. And so in life, if we can continue to push forward on that and we can continue to expose luck as something that is controllable, right? And share that it is controllable, well, then we're giving ourselves the ability to not sit there and say like, life is just what it is. I get handed to me this, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. I am a firm believer that not only in life with opportunity are we are the dictators of luck, but we are also the dictators of our negative things in life. And so we have to take ownership of that. So if something bad happens, it's not because you're unfortunate. It's not because luck didn't favor you. The higher likelihood is you weren't prepared for that opportunity, and then it turned into whatever it turned into, which you did not look at favorably. And so when we really discuss this and we really start to look at how much we control our environment on both ends of the spectrum, we can stop playing the victim, right? Which that's going to be something we talk about as well. We can stop playing the victim and we can start playing the hero, right? Now, whether that's the anti-hero, whether that is the one that always wins, whether it's the comeback hero, whatever it is, we accept that and we get the ability to be that, but we get the ability to be the hero. And that's where the power really is for us. That is where the power for men is, because we love to play the martyr. We love to play the one that like unfavorable shit happens, so we struggle in life, but that's just our lot. We love to play that role. We love to stack up adversity to say why we can't, why I didn't do this, why I didn't achieve that, this. We want to stack up adversity. All of that shit is all tailored by us. That's all to protect either an insecurity or to not accept the fact that we were ill prepared for opportunity. And it's okay to say that now, and to realize that and understand that you have complete control over this. It's not something that we just defer to as some fucking universal aspect out there. It's that we have the ability to control both the negative and the positive by being prepared. And so what I also, have an affinity towards is the fact that, people want to say they're preparing with guns and all these things and stocking up for the zombie apocalypse and all this yada, yada, yada. And that's great. But on the same token, if you're preparing for that, but you're not preparing for the opportunities that come up in your daily life, where are your priorities? Because preparedness, especially when it comes to life, should be on a more regular basis than you preparing for the zombie apocalypse. This, 1 in quadrillion chance of some crazy ass thing happening, in real life, The Walking Dead, as opposed to 1 in a freaking 2 chance of something happening on a daily basis. You see what I'm saying? So if we're not putting our time into the preparedness of what real life is, and we're putting preparedness into this extreme outlier of potential life, well, we're not really giving ourselves the ability to have a successful and abundant and happy and joyful life. We're really putting ourselves in a box of, saying that life does what it does for us. We don't have any control over it, and we're just going to prepare for the worst possible scenario. But the everyday scenario, the constant losses that we stack up on ourselves, the constant adversities that we say were why we couldn't achieve something, those things become excuses. They become our crutches. But you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse. Don't worry. If that ever happens in your life, you're good to go, right? But why? Why do we do that? So let's take from this one piece, and the one piece that I really want you guys to take from it is just the statement, prepared. Luck is preparedness meets opportunity. Preparation meets opportunity, okay? And if you can take that away from this, you can start to look at your life and even what's going on right now in your life and say, where am I ill prepared for an opportunity that could greatly benefit me? And if you're ill prepared for it, then how can I improve that position to be prepared for it when that opportunity, if that opportunity arises? So take a real look in your life and how you can achieve that so that luck does favor you. And they say luck favors the bold. Well, the bold constantly are prepared. They're constantly training on stuff. And that's what gives them the confidence to be bold. So if you want to be bold and you want to be confident, you need to keep preparing. You need to keep training your mind, your heart, your spirit, your physical body, all of those things, and figuring out ways to train them in a way that is congruent with who you are so you can then be prepared for opportunity. All right, guys, until next time.